Good afternoon, everybody. It is the 8th of March, 2013. And of course, our video is brought to you by Life. Learning is fundamentally essential. After all, life is a living classroom. And today is exactly about that topic. Learning is fundamentally essential means also willing to learn from your screw ups. I was in the process of doing something for my landlord. He really was impressed with how I redid my living room door, and he asked me to go through and restain all the woodwork and stuff in the hallway. So it's pretty straightforward, right? Well, one of the projects on my wish list was to redo the kitchen door. I knew it was painted, so I knew I was asking for a lot of work. So I went ahead and I did my easy off technique on the bottom part of the door to see how much work I'd be getting into to strip off the paint. I got the first few layers of paint off, but then it kind of petered out right near the very end of the door. So I ended up basically having a door that was sort of an off-white color, and of course the reddish color. Okay, so I was out of easy off, and I didn't know. I said to myself, I said, well, I don't think this is gonna work very well, but I said, why don't I put some stain on top of the off-white paint on the bottom of the door? Well, guess what? It looked terrible. And so I kind of sat there typing my fingers, let's see. Now, either way, I'm still basically I'm in for a pound. Okay, here's how. If I go ahead and I want to go ahead and restain the door, I have to sand it down anyway. I gotta have to completely take all the hardware off the door and perfectly burrow a belt sander and sand the whole sucker all the way down to the dregs. Okay, I might still have to use easy off technique in part because of the fact is that you got a lot of paint in there already, so you're gonna have to get rid of all the paint. That's gonna mean a lot of dust. Uncool. Well, I guess that's life, right? Well, if I want to go in the easy off method like I'm doing, that means I'm going to need another 4 cans easy off to get the rest of the crap off the door. And preferably a spatula or a scraper to take the coatings of crud off. The original paint that was underneath the door was a lead-based type of paint. I don't think it was latex, but I really can't be sure because, as I said, the easy off petered out near the end of the door job, so really couldn't get the rest of the paint off. It's kind of funny when you think about paint because, everybody says lead-based paint's bad, and it isn't good at all, far from it. But it seemed to me that in those days, it didn't seem like white was really white. It was sort of like a dun color. It was kind of tannish. I don't know if that was the nature of the white lead that they were using in the paints or what the story was, but clearly it wasn't white. It definitely looked more like a dun color, if anything. So now I gotta decide, do I want to go ahead and finish sanding the door down and then restain it, or just basically throw my hands in the air, buy some latex paint, and repaint the door from top to bottom in latex. That would closely match the rest of the trim. Well, the trim is original. The doors are not. The doors are not needed to this apartment. Okay, they were from somewhere else. Where the landlord got them from, I do not know. I just know that he found doors that fit. He put them in. Okay, first thing. So obviously that was pretty interesting in its own right. They are definitely East Lake doors, but they're not the same doors. but they were pretty well matched up, so you really couldn't tell too well if they were East Lakes or not. But because you could see from the lock hardware that they clearly are from somewhere else. And of course, all the coats of paint on it, it doesn't matter. You're going to have to strip all the paint off. That was just to do the bottom of the door. It was a gross job. I never saw so much junk on the bottom of my Scotch-Brite pads. I mean, there was it looked almost like something a baby spit up. That's how bad it looked. I was like, ugh, this is gross. I mean, it was. I don't even want to describe it. It was just vile. Okay, and I only got the first layer of paint off, or the first few layers off, and I still have to finish getting the rest of the paint off the door. How on the feep am I supposed to do that? Oh, I was out of money for the month. I mean, I only got like 100 left for the rest of the month for groceries and things. And so, I'm not going to really be able to throw a lot of more money in towards the door project. But the landlord said he would help out here. So, and I'm going to show him, of course, what I did do with the hallway and things. And, of course, I think he's going to be very happy to see how the hallway trim looks a lot better than it did. So, I think he could afford to buy a couple of cans of paint or stain, or let me borrow his belt sander if he has one, so I can just strip off the rest of the paint off the door and start over. I have another door in my kitchen I want to do the same thing with. It's the other door that's behind the refrigerator. That door, I started scraping that door down by hand, and I get a ton of crap in there. Hoo-wee! That was some time ago. It was like 2 weeks when I first moved in. I started stripping that door. That was a gross job. I'm serious. But I still would like to finish the job. Okay, so anyway, like I said, one of my viewers said to me, she said, I like the black and white look, and it makes it look good on you, but the last video was just not very exciting because I lost my interest. Of course, last video on the 7th was more of a proof of concept. It really was kind of haphazard, kind of done quickly. It was almost like I was trying to show, see, look what I could do, and that's what it was. It was more like, see what I can do. Don't you like it? Want to see more of it? Well, you know what, the thing is, I haven't heard anyone else say anything good or bad about it, so as far as I'm concerned, I like the monochrome look anyway, because it looks good with my hair. Really, it does. I mean, my hair, by the way, today, oh man, that was one thing when I was doing stain. You should have saw the amount of freeping stain that got in my hair. Holy crap. You don't even know. I mean, I'm surprised it got it all out. I had to wash my hair like 5 times to get all the stain out of my hair. Because look at this, what happens, like, my stupid hair can fall in the damn can. This side was like a brownish red. Because, it's mahogany 225 stains. Like, oh, God. I don't want to go back to being a redhead. If I was to go back to being redhead, wouldn't I want to do the whole head? Not just the tips? So I said no. Oh, man, that was the job. Getting all that paint out. Lovely. Took a while. Okay, so anyway, I'm sorry, like I said, I'm sorry yesterday's video was so short. There was a lot of things going on around here. This place is always like a 3-ring circus every time I go in here. It's like always somebody comes up with something, Okay, so now for the rest of the week, what I wanted to do is I first of all would like to hear from you. Again, I always do. Please, come on. It's not too hard. It's so simple. It's ridiculous. First of all, if you're watching this on Facebook, MySpace, Blogger, whatever, and you need or you want to send comments to my main page, it's so easy. First of all, it was a good idea to subscribe to it too. It's http://www.youtube, that's youtube.com USER /BICHELA 4. So again, that's http://www.youtube.com/BICHELA 4. And come take a look and also subscribe to the channel. If you are on the desktop, you probably might see the word subscribe. If you're on many cell phone apps, you might see on the right hand corner a circle with a plus sign in it. Tag that and that'll subscribe you to the channel. And when you do that, you'll always be kept abreast if there's new videos, comments, or suggestions. Always a good way to find out what's going on in the video world. Never be afraid to ask me questions. I want to make sure people understand that. I want to hear from you. Anything you got to say, I don't care if it's good, bad, neutral, whatever. Come on, let's talk. I'm not gonna bite, and neither is Lumi. No. By the way, what are we gonna? We still haven't gotten all the votes in yet for the Who's the Better Commentator. No, we haven't. Where are you? Where are you, voters? Huh? Are you afraid to talk to us? I don't know if it's so simple, I don't think they're afraid. I think they're probably saying is look, whatever you're going to do, you're going to do. It doesn't matter if we like it or not. Yeah. But I'm thinking that's exactly what it is that people don't want to pick sides. Like Switzerland. Play Switzerland. Stay neutral, yeah. But that's still picking a side. Yeah, it's still picking a side in its own. But at the same time, it doesn't really help when the persons are asking for people to help them make a decision of which side to pick. Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of sides, a couple days ago, Rand Paul, I mentioned this one in the last video, but I didn't go into a lot of detail on it. His 12-plus hour filibuster, he sat there and he explained that he felt that President Obama's drone program was a violation of the Constitution. You know what? Eric Holder agreed with him that it was a violation of the Constitution because they're not combatants. It's not a military thing. And for that reason, using drones against unarmed Americans is bad. So I'm glad Eric Holder stood up for the American people and did what he was supposed to do. Now, he really got to stand up for a lot more. By the way, the person that was here yesterday, unfortunately, I don't know if you told you about him, he turns out to be really not quite such a great guy to have around the house. He was simply a very loud, arrogant, flaming asshole. Okay? I thought he was an informed individual. He was an informed individual, but the problem is that he thought his opinion was the right one and everybody else's opinion was bunk. Let me just make it very clear, just for those of you who do not understand. An opinion is like an asshole. Everybody has one. At least everybody that I know of on this planet Earth has one. Okay? All vertebrates have one, okay? All mammals have one. Hell, even birds got one. It's called a cloaca, and same thing with amphibians. But the point is that he thought that he was trying to push even more strongly his agenda that was much more extreme than the teabaggers, the teabag movement. I'm a Tea Party person myself, but I'm not to the point where I'm a flaming asshole. I've always been more of a neutral or moderate person. So he's sitting there and he's trying to tell me, oh, you guys live in a slum building with a slumlord that lives downstairs. Oh, I think that you really should be living in a better place. I'm going to go ahead and make trouble for your landlord just because I think it goes against my constitutional rights. I said to him, first of all, when we moved in here, me and many other people, we all knew that he had policies and he had rules and he had regulations and things that he required and stipulated. Nobody came in here with their eyes closed. Everybody knew what you were getting into. So yes, we knew what we were getting into, and we signed the lease voluntarily. And according to the Constitution, incidentally, it says the pursuit of the inalienable right to the pursuit of life, or life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If you're happy where you're living, then that's fine. You're living your constitutional amendment, your Bill of Rights. But when somebody else tries to tell you that your Bill of Rights don't matter, that they're going to make sure that you're no longer happy, I got something to say to you. Go back and study the Constitution that you uphold so well. Look at it. Look at the opening statement. We believe that self-evident, that all men are created equal under God and have given the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And these are inalienable, which means you cannot take them away. Okay? So, in that case, why should another person try to tell me that if I live where I live, that I should not be allowed to be happy? It's not my landlord who said that. This is this guy that I met at the soup kitchen saying that. Now, the point I'm trying to get at is when you're happy somewhere and your needs are met and you have a place to sleep every night and you share that bed with your loving sweetheart and you have enjoying a good time, and I'm talking about you. I know you are. And yet, you should never tell another person, I'm sorry, your happiness doesn't matter to me. I'm not happy until I make you miserable. Then you are in the wrong place. Don't try to do that. It goes against the Constitution of the United States. That's why we have the Bill of Rights, right? Incidentally, isn't that also true that we also should not be trying to tell the states under the 10th Amendment, the states have their own sovereign rights to govern their own people within that state's guidelines, borders, how that state is going to pass its laws. And in the case of the issue of Washington and Colorado regarding marijuana, several former DEA bigwigs want Eric Holder to sue the states of Washington and Oregon to cease the allowing of people to use marijuana for recreational uses within state lines. Excuse me, but again, just like this diphead that was getting me in trouble, don't you think the Constitution of founders knew that the 10th Amendment was important to make sure the states would be a loose group of individuals allowed to self-govern themselves? That's what they were for. How can you tell me that we, the big, quasi-semi-big, huge, monolithic United States government should be telling you how you are to govern your own affairs within your quarters of your state? No, it does not allow that. The Constitution does not allow that. It goes under the Commerce Clause. Anything that has to do within the state that does not cross state lines is a state issue. And those states, especially if they're doing things that the people have voted on and agreed in referendums, should be allowed to do things as they see fit. For the people who had voted to legalize recreational marijuana use in Colorado and Washington state. So therefore I say to you is leave it alone, people. If you don't like it, don't agree to it in your state. As long as Colorado and Washington keep the marijuana in their states and you're the state next door, you have no bitch. However, the minute it leaves Colorado or Washington, then it crosses state lines, and that is an interstate issue of where the commerce is regulated by the federal government. And we know that the federal government does not support marijuana trafficking. And the states themselves do not, and I repeat this, they do not want to push it with the federal government by trying to encourage out-of-state marijuana sales. So that's something to remember. Our Constitution must be upheld. But it also means that the people who are trying to pick sides and say that something shouldn't be allowed because it violates what I feel is my inalienable rights should seriously ask questions. We don't need a nanny state. We don't need a country that tells us, for example, oh, if you're happy living on the street and eating garbage and you enjoy it and you're happy with that life, that we're going to force you kicking and screaming to live in a homeless shelter and that you're going to eat perfect meals, 3 squares, and a nice place to sleep. And if you're not happy there, then why are you trying to force that? You're trying to force your happiness, what you consider happiness, onto another person. That is not cool. Okay? I don't do that in my religious beliefs, and I'm sure to hell would never do that regarding my other beliefs as well. And I would also like to remind every single person of the United States, please review the Constitution. Okay? I know it's big. I know there's a lot of amendments, but please read it. And really, really read especially the Bill of Rights. Know what they are. You're going to need them. Stand up for what is right. Don't try to encourage a wrong to be perpetuated through the system. Anyway, I guess that's pretty much it for now. And for those of you, I hope you did not lose interest. But if you did, please rewind the tape and watch it again. Because it's important. Okay? Have a nice night, everybody. Bye. Oh, excuse me. What? Can I say something now? I guess so. Michelle has been here doing videos now for about 2 years, and also it's kind of interesting that in 2 years I've seen you go from doing very simple video. I remember when you used to be very scared when you first got on the camera, and you were like, "Am I doing this right? Is my hair good? Is it?" And yet, here you are, and you are so much comfortable with the video stuff. It will be around May of 2013 that Michelle will have been on the air for 2 years. So I just wanted to personally say that I am very much impressed with how we have come in so long. And also, I know that I haven't really talked a lot about me yet, but me and Michelle, we're going to work on Beltane of this year. We're going to try to get some more information together about how my life has changed since our union. So we'd like to answer your questions, like Michelle said. So if you have a question, please take the time, send it to us. If you don't want to make it on the video because of confidentiality, that's okay. Just send it to us in email. And also, don't forget, just hold a minute, Michelle. Don't forget that we have a website too. But there's no easy way for you to ask questions on it. But if you want to find out more about us, it's certainly a start. It's http colon forward slash PINKROSE dot DHIS.org. And when you're there, you can read up about a lot about Michelle and me. But it's not all there, but we will be adding more information as we go through life. So, just keep it in perspective. And yes, by the way, Michelle, I am very happy with what you've done with the winter this year. And so let me ask you a question. What's your plans for next year? Next year? Yeah. Um, I don't really know yet because it depends on so many factors. This year, really, I didn't do much low modesty. No, I didn't. I mean, yes, I did start the ball rolling, but I did not babysit the ball. Okay, it just seemed that once I began setting up the formula of what I wanted to whether to do, the elements just pretty much followed the pattern that was preset. And so this year, I already can see that yes, the Midwest will still be a little short with water by the end of the growing season, but I get a feeling that the spring steward will probably be trying to continue on where I left off with a steady rain, in part to keep the aquifers at least in good condition. So I don't really know how much it's going to be. And that's, as I said, I only do winter. I don't do, after Ostara, I'm done for the year. And so I just wanted to personally say that I have been very happy with the season so far. Even yesterday's snow really wasn't that bad. It was heavy stuff, but it didn't really, I could tell it was definitely near the end of the season because it was just not, didn't have, I mean, I started to see that the flakes were sort of kind of mushy and they really weren't well formed at all, but that's expected. So for me, I think that for next year, I mean, depending on how it goes, might just have to do the same basic routine as we did this year. And then it has made a positive difference for farmers in the Midwest. And so that I will continue to work on trying to make sure that we'll have a good, steady bumper crop this year. And I want you to personally know that I'm very happy that you and I have been together for all these years. And I have to tell you that it's a joy to have you by my side. Thank you. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. And again, if you have questions, ask Michelle. You can send them to our many places. You can send them here. You can send them on YouTube. You can send to our email addresses. Mine is BS and Boy, ICHELA3 at gmail.com or BICHELA3 at yahoo.com, which I am more than likely considering retiring that one because of the Yahoo security is just not acceptable, like I mentioned yesterday. And of course, my video address is LUMIFINISTRA at gmail.com. And so you can reach us there, and we will answer your questions as best we can. And I want to just say, everybody, have a nice night. See you hopefully next week. Stay warm. Oh, yeah, they're going to be plenty warm up to Monday. Yeah, they're going to be warm for a while. Yeah, enjoy the warmer weather, guys, here in New England. It's not going to be too bad. No. It's going to be actually pretty nice to see a slight break from the cold. Yeah. Okay. You want to say it together? May you always have a nice day. And always make sure to keep us in your heart. Keep watching our videos and continue to subscribe and tell your friends. Good night, everybody. Good night.